The Oruga Podcast.
Somehow somebody's always looking the other way. Now look at these guys. They look busy, right?
And it's crazy how a show with no plot and it being awkward as the main focus can blow up. Right. Then what are you paying attention to?
You know what you just described? That, like, Bobby podcaster.
Yeah. The super good, very good podcast.
A really good podcast.
Yeah, that's how forgettable it is. I don't even know what kind of good it is.
It is the most
very, really
If
amazing?
You guys want to hear the most awkward conversation happen, it is that,
that chick.
Podcast. Because she is just absolute awkward. And she's just, like, asking her guests for money. And that's like 4 of the episodes I've listened to. Like, she's asked Drake for money. She's asked Mark Cuban for money.
At least have a little cover for it. Be like,
no.
I have a charity. Can you donate to my charity?
My kid is sick.
Welcome to the Op. Be sure to check out Oruga's shop. We make shirts and hoodies that are comfortable and stylish. Follow @ShopOruga and visit orugastore.com. That is ORUGA store.com. Beat produced by Saipuda. Check him out at saipudabeats.com.
Welcome back to the Oruga Podcast. At this point, if you haven't checked out our Galactic merch or Galactic Federation merch, you should do that. Just take a gander.
You need to get ahead of the game.
You know, for you to be a citizen of this galactic galaxy, I am shocked.
Galactic galaxy?
I know.
It's a galaxy.
It's just a galaxy. I just want to say it's galactic and a galaxy at the same time, but, you know.
Because we're dope like that.
Yeah, because we make shapes that don't make sense. So, yeah, just check that shit out. And
it's got all the aliens' logos and flags on there.
And, yeah.
And if you're wondering how we know that, it's top secret. Top secret.
Soon we'll have an FBI agent knocking on our door. Hi, how do you know that that's the aliens' flags and logos? But we don't know. You know, we just think of this shit. We're like Long Island. We're like Long Island mediums. You know, we get a vision and we're like,
takes us back.
I know. Thousands of years of lives I've lived to realize that these are the things that... Never mind, I'm just...
But do go check out the Op collection or the Oruga Podcast merch if you are looking at it through our store.
Indeed. And there's links everywhere. If you can't find a link, I'd be shocked.
And everything is a button on our site. So if you're confused, just click one of those buttons and you'll probably be taken somewhere.
Indeed. If you're not taken to our Oruga directory, then you'll be taken to our Oruga store, which is a fine place to take a gander and look through some rabbit holes, because that website is a rabbit hole. For God's sakes, there's NFTs, there's prints, there's merch, and then there's
at this point,
socials.
It's the next Facebook, so just go sign up. Go get an account.
And soon we'll have other podcasts under Oruga Studios. It's gonna be a hectic place to be. We're gonna be the next Mr. Beast, and we're gonna have a warehouse of just multiple different studios, and
we're gonna have our what is it in Willy Wonka? We're gonna have our Oompa Loompas.
Oh, yeah.
They're gonna be like, where'd you guys find those people? Be like, these are our YouTube minions.
Actually, by that point, we'll have robots. So we'll just have those Boston Dynamic robots, like those dogs that you can kick over. And then, you know how they, like, attach machine guns to those motherfuckers, too? You know how scary those Boston
I wish
Dynamic
I could see one of them in person. Because that's like seeing a transform. You remember going to Universal Studios and seeing like Optimus Prime and his the human in the suit?
Dude, yeah.
And Bumblebee.
And then they have some like statues of him too.
Yeah.
Just like non-lifelike statues that are like pretty big too. And they're so well detailed and they fucking look real. And yeah, Universal's a cool place too. That's a really cool
But
place.
those Boston Dynamic, like tech dogs, those are definitely cool.
And they are so able to go like off terrain.
They come in like yellow, don't they?
I don't know.
They come in
Really?
like white, yellow. I've seen. There's this one.
Can you buy one yet?
There's this one NFT artist who specifically makes art with like the yellow version of that Boston Dynamics, like their dog thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I wish I knew the name of it, because it'll be forever just known to me as like a little mule. It looks like something that like is meant to carry all of the soldiers' like gear and shit.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what you would use it for, like in real battle, in like the real battleground. You know?
Well, actually, I can answer for you, because those things are designed for getting injured people out of the battleground, or out of like a
so
battlefield.
they just are like that. You put them over the little hump,
Yeah, and then they just walk you out.
almost like a saddle.
Yeah, I don't really know how you would ride this dog as you're injured.
Like, do you just crawl on top of it once it's lowered?
I think it would.
It starts running away.
What would be better is like, you know those Indian sleds that they would just like just basically a knapsack, and you're pulled by that knapsack.
Mm-hmm.
That would probably be. I don't know, actually. This is an interesting.
Sounds about the same sort of physics. Like you grab on for dear life, for your life to be saved,
and then you're just like getting hit by rocks and gravel, and it's not going to be like a Rolls Royce drive. But
it's weird how we're making like dogs out of technology, or just whatever animal you would have.
And then PETA's like, don't hit those. Those are real dogs.
I don't know what other animal it's associated with, but like it's the same shape as one.
I mean, I guess you could be like this guy.
If I was Boston Dynamics, I'd be making like a bear or some bullshit, you know? I wouldn't be making some half-sized human, like half the size of a human.
Okay.
Like robot. I'd be building the size of a bear, you know?
Sure.
Stuff for like heavy loads.
Well, I would say that during the test mode, size doesn't matter. You know, intent, but but like I would assume that like it doesn't matter on, like you could make I would assume that Ford or Tesla has the ability to make a miniature car, and they're like, these are the basic physics, this is like, you can easily scale this up, or you can easily scale, you know what I mean? Like, I don't feel like it's that big of a jump to be like, scale doesn't matter.
You know what was a funny jump though?
What?
The fact that we started talking about aliens and Galactic Federation, now we're talking about robot dogs.
Yeah.
How the fuck does that work?
Because our aliens are gonna fight the robots, bro. Mac Miller was right. Aliens versus robots, bro. That's the only way we're gonna win a galactic war, is through sending our dog robots into space.
It's like that one white dog on Rick and Morty in the mech suit. It's like, his name is Fluffy or something.
Fluffy, yeah. Morty,
Or
you were
Snowball.
always the best human
Is it
to
Snowball
me.
or Fluffy?
It might be Snowball.
It's like one of them, but it's
Right.
that white dog in the mech suit.
It could be Snowball too. I don't really remember anymore.
It's
but
one of them crusty white dog names.
Yeah, he would piss inside, and Jerry would get mad and like snuff the dog into the piss, and he was like, that's why I don't like Jerry. Jerry's getting. Gosh, what a good episode. That was a great episode. And like,
I have an unpopular opinion though.
Okay.
Do you think?
Shoot.
I think Solar Opposites is better than Rick and Morty, production wise.
Can I say
I
this?
think Hulu gave them a big budget
for sure.
instead of Adult Swim or
Yeah.
whoever was financing.
I think it's Comedy Central, right?
I thought it might be. I don't know.
I don't know either, dude. I really.
I remember
don't know.
them being on Adult Swim for the longest though.
God, you know how cool it'd be to animate one of those shows though.
Dude, Adult Swim probably hosts like any type of bullshit show.
I bet if we put a pilot together, 14 minutes.
Exactly.
14 minutes.
We would
That's all you
be.
gotta put together.
We would be on one of those late night 3 a.m. episode things.
That'd be so fun. Oh, that'd be so cool. Oh, that'd be so cool. Yeah. It
is one of the cooler companies out there to collaborate with. Instead of like MTV or some shit, I'd be like, I'm choosing Adult Swim.
MTV
or VH1. Imagine just any of those bullshit shows came up to us and they're like, we'll give you a check for $10K,
right.
$20K.
I feel like if you said anything racy, MTV would be like, this isn't okay. You know what I mean? Yeah. I feel like they're a little more hands-on during the production than Comedy Central.
Yeah, Comedy Central, everything flies. Everything is...
What was the other one you said? Comedy Central and what else?
Adult Swim.
Adult Swim, yeah.
But that's mostly like... That mostly has to do with like animation.
What the fuck was that noise? Was that my cat?
That had to have been Ruby.
It had to be. Sorry, listeners. We just heard something like crash in my apartment, but we're just gonna assume that it was my cat fucking around.
She's somewhere else.
But okay, with your who's better, Solar Opposites or Rick and Morty? And I'll say Rick and Morty is consistently entertainment, but the Solar Opposites has some great moments, like some so spectacular that it's unbelievable.
And even though like both shows have a really fast pace in their plot, I feel like the Solar Opposites plot is a lot easier to stick to or like understand.
Yes, and it's a little more straightforward because with Rick and Morty you're like, dude, there's so much external stuff going on. You know what I mean? Like there's multiple different versions of themselves. There's multiverse. Morty takes over the world like 3 or 4 times on accident. Like there's just a lot that's going on. But in Solar Opposites, it's like more situational, and they really build on the story. They really build on the story, right? When those young 2 aliens, I forget, Yumulak and what's the other one? Yumulak and like Jesse. Yeah. Those are such 2 different names. Anyways, so these 2 alien kids in Solar Opposites start shooting people with these like minimizer guns or like shrinking guns.
The shrink rays.
Yeah, the shrink rays. And then they take these like miniature, like hamster-sized people into a giant aquarium.
It's like an ant wall.
An ant wall. That's like,
and you just see everything from the outside, and you can peer in on them. And the funniest parts, you remember when the pupa is always like peering in? It's like,
I'm gonna have to rewatch that show.
It's so funny though. Like when the pupa just stares at the tiny people, and he's so blank faced.
That is such a great show. Yeah. It is like, because they really like play with the idea, what would humans do in a vacuum? What would humans do in this isolated kingdom of theirs?
It does pose so many questions and scenarios,
right,
that other TV shows just don't have the ability to like.
They don't have the freedom,
you know.
Yeah.
They don't have the creative freedom to be able to express those kind of funny ideas.
Right.
And that's what makes them like out of the box.
Because they pose situations where people create like dystopias. Like the people in the wall that were like ant-sized, they literally the first season they created a dystopia, and it was just anarchy.
They had to find someone to elect, and then that person ended up getting like assassinated or whatever.
Okay.
And then the person who was like the most powerful was the one in charge.
Yeah.
Or like the most strong.
And there was like markets, and there were like deep markets, and they were like selling. What was their big thing? Was it like penicillin? What was the big thing? They were like really hiding a particular medicine for one of their citizens inside the wall, and it was like some medicine, and they're like, you have to pay a high price for this. And it was just like such a dystopia that like a few hundred people created in this little anthill. And it's very fascinating. And then on the next season they were like, we turned into a utopia. You know, everybody has enough, and like it was just really fascinating. But even with the utopia, there was still a little fuckery. That was the funniest part about it. Yeah, dude, what a good show. But I will say some parts during Solar Opposites is super slow.
Mm-hmm.
Super fucking slow. And that's why it's like, man, I don't know. Like, Rick and Morty is amazing, but it never slows down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it keeps the same pace throughout most of the episode.
Right, but then Solar Opposites is like a little slow here, a little slow there, and you're like, then it goes through a scene, and you're like, that was the best scene I've ever seen in about a decade out of any animation show.
For real.
There was one part where a mini person who was, Shrink Raid, got outside, and then she was pregnant too, so like she was like running from birds that were trying to pick her off I
remember that. Yeah.
And then she got into a Pez dispenser so she could hide, but the thing is that Pez dispenser was getting clicked off by something, and she was giving birth as she was in the Pez dispenser, getting sent up the dispensing part. I don't know. Sorry, I don't have many descriptive words for this situation.
No, that was
so
one of the craziest.
Crazy.
Things.
You should watch that, and you're like, actually, like so concerned about this miniature ant-sized person that's giving birth.
They encapsulated stress in that episode.
Oh, it's so good.
That had to have been her again, right?
I guess, dude. I'm just hearing.
Because she's not around here.
Man, the craziest noises. My cat must just be on one right now. I think it's because I didn't give her catnip, and usually that's like her sedative.
It's a thing that settles her.
She's just like pure happiness, pure joy, and just wants to like lay around. But no, she's a little crazy right now. Yeah, dude. It would be so fun to create a show, to create a pilot. I mean, we would probably have to create 4 or 5 pilots until a show was like, yeah, we can roll with this. We'll give you a budget of... Actually, don't even understand how much budgeting would be for an animation show, but...
Because even something like Smiling... Have you seen... is it Smiling or Happy Friends?
Happy Friends.
What the hell is that show called?
Was it?
It's like
Happy Tree Friends? Is that what you're talking about?
No, that's not it. I forgot the goddamn show. But it was like a yellow and a pink guy. Mip. Or Pim.
Okay. Peppa?
And Charlie.
Peppa the Pig?
His name was like Charlie.
Okay.
And Pim.
Okay.
And they were a yellow and pink guy. And it was just like the same sort of comedy style as, I guess, Rick and Morty and Solar Opposites.
Mm-hmm.
Just like dark comedy.
For sure.
But I think it was on Adult Swim.
Okay.
And it was a pretty good show.
Yeah.
But she is definitely on one.
Oh, my cat is.
She's trying to be dominant.
She's trying to look down upon us.
She's like, barely like 5 inches higher than us.
So she's on my couch right now. But the thing is, she's really close to a countertop that has a huge knife on it. And I'm really terrified for her to like go onto that countertop. I don't know, man. I'm actually, like, with our last minute conversation, I've been looking over there and debating if I should go get that kitchen cooking knife and just get it, but I don't know, man.
I don't think she's the type to just swipe it.
Dude, that's the thing. Just that situation.
Yeah.
I don't need that situation. I don't need, anyways. Yeah, she's so devilish. Look at her. Like, you fucking asshole.
I know. The glare that you get from cats is always hilarious.
Yeah, so confident looking.
Yeah.
Where's
it
the
makes
confidence?
them so full of emotion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And I don't think I can decide, like, oh, cats are better than dogs. Like, I like dogs, too. There's just...
Cats are just better at showing their expressions.
Yeah, they got a lot of personality. That's for damn sure, dude. Oh my gosh, they're just...
Yeah, with dogs, they just sneeze and cough and like with cats they like do weird ass different types of sneezes, weird ass different hairballs that are like getting coughed up.
Do you know when she meows like really like loud? You've heard that before, right? When she's like, it's so crazy because it's always at like fucking 4 a.m. or some shit like that, and like,
is that her hunger pains?
I think what happens, and this is pure speculation, this is my guess, but that she moves the litter into a place where it doesn't actually capture her piss anymore, and I think a little bit of piss gets on her paws, and then she starts meowing because she has piss on her face.
She's upset about it.
She's upset about it. Like, it's so stupid. That's my theory. It's not a solid theory because I haven't really tested it yet, but yeah.
I wonder what would happen if you were just to record that like 3-second meow that they do and then just play it back to them at a random time.
Oh, that would be perfect. You know how ready and prepared I would have to be though in that moment?
Yeah.
I would have to have my phone and then I would
be
have
close to the litter box.
Yeah, I would have to be decently close. And then I would have to have the whereabouts of, like, where's my record, where's the camera? You know what I mean? Like, I wonder even if I have an app on there that would just be recording audio.
Yeah, there's one.
There is one?
Yeah.
Interesting. The FBI's already got it downloaded. I just have to activate it.
Yeah. Voice recording stuff.
Yeah, that's true.
Or voice memos. I don't even know what they're called on the app. Looking for comfortable? Looking for comfortable and stylish apparel? Something right up your alley? Oruga has a collection for you. Monochrome features sleek black and white designs. The Workweek and Thermal features pops of vibrant color. Check out orugastore.com for unique styles and streetwear.
What kind of concept would you be interested in on an animated show? Would you want to do like basic stuff like Homebody? Homebody would be like The Simpsons.
I have so many pilots in my head already. I think Homebody mixed with like, I know you hate this show, but like I get the vibes of like Shameless in my head.
Okay.
But
multiple
just like
characters.
An animated Shameless show.
Interesting.
But with like crazy ass characters, like mythical or some bullshit.
And they have to fit archetypes.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best part. Is like to have fun with the archetypes.
Yeah, I would go off the mood of just making an animated Shameless show and just have very different characters that are all like arguing with each other, but they like fit in at the end of the day.
Would you want like modern time, future, past? You know what hasn't been done is past.
Yeah, past is always like almost never done.
Never done. Future's been done.
Dude,
Futurama.
An animated Peaky Blinders show would be dope.
Yeah, it would be so interesting.
They need to do more with Peaky Blinders. I feel like that show was just left on like a, you know, like the end of Inception. That's how.
Where they're in the mountains?
No, where the thing is just, it stays spinning. That's how Peaky Blinders is. Like, there should be more to it.
Okay.
Like, they're that cinematic universe. Like, I'm surprised they haven't made any movies.
It almost of like gangster shows.
Yeah.
Basically. I mean, I would assume that goes into that category of gangster.
There's no good gangster show besides that one.
There's no... I would argue there's no gangster shows that are animated like
True.
that. I don't know.
Even like a Sopranos type of vibe,
right.
too. Like,
yeah.
Just a mobster. Give me a mobster animated show, and I would fuck with it.
Why does it have to be comedy? That's the interesting thought. Like, why do they have to be comedy shows? Like, I would say Solar Opposites is in the realm of comedy. right?
Mm-hmm.
So is Rick and Morty too. But I would
But
say it's in a realm of comedy.
I think it's comedy and then very like specific, relatable things that they add in that comedy that makes it like either it goes over your head or you're like it fits you so well that you're like laughing throughout the whole show because it's like yeah that's me.
There are some parts where, like, Rick will be talking and you're like, Jesus, that was like a stream of consciousness for a second. Yeah. Just for how well they nailed Rick. And, like, that kind of, like, it's almost like a gambling addict. Mm-hmm. Like, that's kind of, like, the representation I get from him of just, like, an absolute addict of, like, adrenaline junkies. You know, that's what he like fits the archetype in my mind. And yeah, it's really interesting. I would always be really interested in what's their process of making a show like that. Like, do you make just like scenarios and then you run through those scenarios and then you figure out the ending of the show? Like,
I know the storyboard rooms I bet are so dense with like how are we ending this episode? How are we ending this season?
Right. Because
like, you would have to think so far ahead.
You know how crazy like we can get with just making note cards and papers and like there's still a stack of papers of Oruga shit where it's just like and
I
I'm
could
sure
fill a white board eraser or like you know what I mean, like a whole whiteboard.
Oh yeah, we could pile papers across this entire wall. I feel like there's enough, and which goes to the thought like, what do they do? Do they do that as well? Do they just have like whole whiteboards where they're like drawing out like almost like character maps, and like who's in the families of who? Like you almost have to create a whole entire like character list, who their relatives are. What's their voices?
Yeah, you're making an inside universe that you're not a part of. But you can be a part of creatively, like through creating those characters. But like imagine you only get like say 40% of your design approved and they end up going and rolling with that character throughout the whole season. And you're like, well, I wanted them to have like this kind of like freckles or some bullshit, right? And this kind of hair, and now I have to animate them this whole season in this kind of way. Like, could you imagine those type of Saudi animators? And they're like, well, only some of my design got into the show.
I guess that's why pilots, you really can only have about 4 or 5 characters, right? And then everything else is add-ins. No, because you could throw fucking 15 different characters and have a whole backstory.
You have to kill them all.
Scrap it all and restart.
Yeah,
you probably want 4 or 5, and that's it for main characters. Maybe 4 at max.
Yeah.
You know, have you ever seen the first Family Guy episode?
No.
It's fucking
Does the
rough.
dog not talk? Does Brian not talk?
Brian talks, but it's
I was
like...
about to say, is he just not a not talking dog?
The animation is so bad that it's like... It's kind of South Park essence, but it's not... I mean, it's not even that, like...
It's just, like, thrown together, almost.
It is trash. It is absolute trash. But the thing is, like, into season 4...
It was made by that one guy, though.
Seth MacFarlane? Yeah, he's a... I'm not trashing that show at all.
Exactly,
I'm just saying the first season visually was, like, dog shit. Mm-hmm. But the rest of that show, after season 1 and 2 and 3, it looks amazing. It looks spectacular. And their animation was amazing. Now that dude's balling out. Oh my god, and he should. He deserves it. He was a genius on that show.
Yeah.
He was a genius, dude. And, like, that show was so intelligent.
I know. He recreated his version of The Simpsons, honestly.
Oh, yeah. And he killed it.
And for someone to twist, like, have their own twist on that, that's super dope.
Oh, yeah. And Peter, him having that, like, bulge chin, was, like, was, like, just a horizontal version of what Homer Simpson had, which was just like those, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe that's a bad take. Actually, it was probably a bad take. But it's just interesting how, like...
Just the same kind of styles and line weight almost.
Yes. Yeah. I was never been by the Simpsons bug. Like, I never really, like, taked in a large amount of it.
I was bitten by the Futurama bug when I was young.
Futurama.
When I was like
crazy
7,
good.
When I was like 7 or 8, that show was... It just still continues to be good.
Oh, yeah.
Looking for an out-of-this-world poster or some stickers to brighten your mood? Check out the Posters and Prints collection on our website, arugastore.com. Our artworks are perfect for walls, mood boards, and anywhere you want to accessorize.
At this point, we haven't created the Galactic Federation ad, but we will create the Galactic Federation ad, which will be fun because we don't really know at this point what it'll look like, what it'll sound like, what we'll say, but it's gonna be fun. We'll see how that goes.
It's obviously space themed, so
for sure
you'll probably be seeing some rockets or
planets or maybe a crazy scientist. Who knows? I feel like since the sun is kind of going down, we should probably turn some lights on. Yeah. Oh,
God. Look at that sticker. Light hitting it just how I want it.
Just how I want it. Oh, man. When we get the whole, like, I would say, like, I'm wearing headphones right now, and it's so interesting how when I wear headphones, it's totally different. Mm-hmm. It's totally different. Like, you almost have to get used to it, and it feels like I don't even understand. But it's funny how, like, guests on the Joe Rogan podcast, there's some of them there, like, I don't do headphones. I don't do that shit. And it's really interesting because it's like, it is like a different feeling. Just like from like me and you talking and then me putting headphones on and me hearing myself as I'm talking to you. And you're like, damn, that is kind of strange. And then you can hear everything like ultra great. And it's like, that's better than my own ears. That's crazy. What's going on here? And then when we have mics and individual mics and individual headphones, and then we'll have a mixer, and then having like audio shoot into our headphones and then shoot back into the computer, and so we're playing clips and then it's being recorded as well at the same time. And it's gonna be fucking insanity.
I know, the whole streamline of it all,
dude, because at this point it's all analog, like everything's being added additionally afterwards. It's like, holy shit, that's a pain. Mm-hmm. But the day that it's all together
and we have our ad button and we're like, play 30-second ad, play 20-second ad,
right? And you can honestly, that stuff can even be added at the end. That honestly doesn't take much time, or at least like it's getting to a point where it's not taking much time. But like, because going back to Joe Rogan, big fan of Joe Rogan. That's my disclaimer. Like, I've listened to a lot of podcasts.
I mean, we're a podcast show. You have to be.
You have to be aware of the number one podcast in the fucking universe. Actually, we don't know what the number one podcast in the universe is. Whoa. Anyways, so I was listening to like episode 500 or something like that, and he was talking about how originally he would do that. He would play the intro, and then he would do ad reads in front of his guests live. That's the most ass thing I've ever heard in my entire life, because like you immediately kill the conversation for about 5 minutes, and then once you're 5 minutes in,
then you're stopping about talking and having to talk about the person you're getting paid, and then you're like, okay, now that I got paid, I can start talking.
And then you're like, dude, now I'm the guest and I'm thinking about, that's your ads? Buffalo Trace? You know, like Lawnmower 3000, the fucking pubes commercial.
Yeah, the Manscaper.
The Manscape. Yeah, dude, it's like that will just absolutely kill the conversation just because you're thinking about it and you're like,
and you can get 30% off the Manscape bundle. Be like, wait, what are we just talking about?
With the code Joe15. Like, dude.
Like, wait, when we were just talking about religious sacraments and now we're talking about the Manscape. Could you imagine you have a priest on or something?
That would be the worst thing possible. Honestly, I think like if you were the host of that show, you'd be like, I'm really sorry, but I gotta get paid somehow. So you see that mic? You see the lights on? We're live because of Manscaped.
I don't know if we'll ever be sellouts, but you'll know one day.
Yeah, you will know one day. I don't know, man. That's a fascinating thing because I guess you could always get.
We're stuck on independent.
For the moment, and it's really funny how when I was growing up, a big thing was like an artist being independent. Do you know what I mean? Oh, what was that dude that made Coloring Book? The album?
Oh.
What was that album?
Chance
the Rapper. I remember everybody going crazy. Chance the Rapper's not signed to a label. He's independent. He puts all of his music on free on YouTube.
And SoundCloud.
Yeah, and you're like, okay. But at this point, I'm like, man, some of the best artists I know are signed to a label. There must be a reason why, you know?
Yeah.
Like, dude. Yeah, being signed to Cash Money Records, you know how cool that would fucking be, dude. You know how much of a baller you would feel like if you were signed to Cash Money Records. Bro.
That is pretty baller.
And if you don't know what Cash Money Records is, it's a fucking record label owned by Mr. Lil Wayne, the best rapper alive.
Young Money.
He literally did. Oh my gosh. How fucking... Well, actually, maybe it's not owned by Lil Wayne. I don't know. I actually don't know. Maybe it wasn't owned by Lil Wayne. Is that crazy? Who do you think owns Cash Money?
It's either Birdman or Lil Wayne or some bullshit.
It could be Birdman's brother.
I don't know.
Yeah.
If it turns out to not be anyone who I know, I'm gonna be disappointed.
Owner. What the fuck is going on? Cash Money Records.
Nah, 3-6 Mafia. They're in
Mafia?
They're in Tennessee.
Cash Money Records.
That's closer to anything we could get.
Yeah, that is the closest shit. Well, there's Atlanta too. Atlanta's pretty close, and New York's pretty close to us too. Cash Money owner. Yeah, it's Birdman. I'm pretty sure Birdman's brother runs it.
Either way, let's get them labels.
Yeah, making music covers. Song covers would be great. I'm really trying to do that. I'm not trying to. Yeah, I don't even know how to explain it. I have so much art on my computer, and I have nowhere to put it. So you know what?
No one to give it to.
Artists, if you're making a song, for God's sakes, DM Oruga, and we could have a conversation.
Even email us.
Our
email is everywhere.
Owners of Oruga. And, we are not in the interest of making money, all right? We're just in the interest of having good art and a few shout-outs here and there.
And helping and giving a helping hand, of course.
Yeah. And just having use for the dope art dope art on my computer, and I don't want it to go to a fucking poster on somebody's wall. You know? That'd be lame as fuck. It would be so much cooler if it was just on Spotify.
Unless an artist makes that cover blow up, and then they're like, now I need to get it on my wall.
That's very true. Very true.
That's the only instance, though.
Kind of blew my mind at that moment, for sure. Yeah, you're totally right. Totally right. Some lame fuck's gonna have a cover. I'm just kidding. Oh gosh, that's so funny. I'm actually glad I'm not that person who puts like. Imagine if I was like taping album covers to my wall.
Oh my god! When you start taping things to your wall, you need to start framing it. That's like the upgrade in life. Is when you start framing shit. There's been so many things on Amazon that are framed that I've been keeping my eye on. It's mostly been movie posters, but like Breaking Bad, like a TV poster for Breaking Bad. Yeah, that'd be dope. Just like any cool pop culture art. Yeah, framed. It's definitely an essential for a modern home.
Like what is it? Pulp Fiction. One of those covers of John Travolta and God, can I really?
That actress.
No. I'm talking about
Samuel.
I'm talking about when Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta.
That generic ass cover.
Yeah, it is pretty generic. They don't really have good covers for that movie. But what a great movie.
Dude, I want to get like a bunch of 80s and 90s movie posters. But there's this one like Amazon seller that sells them. And he like puts in like 6 different circles underneath the full picture, like the color palette. And I thought that was pretty cool.
That's really cool.
And I think they put like who features in it and all that, like directed by and starring.
That's cool.
Yeah, I've definitely been keeping my eye on framed artwork, and we even have some on our shop as well.
For sure. Actually, I don't know if we don't have any framed artwork anymore.
Duality?
No, we don't.
Took that off?
Took that off, man.
It is a 1 of 1, so sorry for anyone.
Wow. I forgot about that piece of art. That's so funny. So, for you fake fans who weren't around the early times.
We even have fine art. I mean, look at these street signs around us.
Yeah.
Those are priceless.
Look at the NFTs if you want a good gander of what we have at the studio.
I mean, we even have that one ad. We could just flash that.
Oh, yeah.
Show them all the NFTs, but enough about us.
More about you guys. What's going on with you guys? Oh, nothing? That's cool.
No, we really do need some artists, though, to hit us up.
Dude, yeah. We need some artists to be like, yo, I need like a good album cover for this and this, and maybe I'll send you an audio file
even
for you to
merchandise.
absorb.
If any artists need merchandise.
Oh, yeah.
We already have collabs.
We have productions. All right, we have designs, we have clothing. If you need a design done and you need a merch store to house your stuff, you know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we're a collective out here.
Yeah, literally.
Look at these guys. They look busy, right? Yeah, we're fucking busy.
Beyond busy. It's quite tiring sometimes, honestly. Having a podcast, having a merch brand, it is exhausting. So please donate to our cause, please.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. I'm not that pitiful. Oh gosh, that's funny. Yeah. It would be so cool to either have a substantial artist come up and be like, I want some music covers, or to create an animated TV show. Jesus, dude. Because you were showing me that Hulu show. What the fuck was that Hulu show?
HBO Max.
It was on HBO Max.
Yeah. And it was all like stick figure animation. Mm-hmm. And it had like some dumbass pigeon in it.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a show that was an absolute mindfuck. All right, but the thing is, it was so low quality. Me and you could do that. No probs. No problem. Could we me and you do that?
Because the thing that made the show was just it being awkward the whole time.
Super
and
awkward.
No plot. There was no plot.
And random shit would happen.
And it's crazy how a show with no plot and it being awkward as the main focus can blow up. Right. Then what are you paying attention to?
You know what you just described? That, Bobby podcaster.
The super good, very good podcast.
A really good podcast.
Yeah, that's how forgettable it is. I don't even know what kind of good it is.
It is the most
very, really
If
amazing.
you guys want to hear the most awkward conversation happen, it is that
chick.
podcast. Because she is just absolute awkward. And she's just, asking her guests for money. And that's 4 of the episodes I've listened to. She's asked Drake for money. She's asked Mark Cuban for money.
At least have a little cover for it. Be like,
no.
Oh, I have a charity. Or something. Can you donate to my charity?
My kid is sick.
Or every subscriber for this, every subscriber that watches this, I'm donating one or something.
Something, dude.
Yeah.
Something.
She's just straight up asking them for money.
Straight up. She was asking Mark Cuban. Maybe it's a joke. Maybe it's a bit. But let me tell you, it doesn't feel like
it's
a bit.
It's not a funny bit because the reality that's the reality for a lot of people.
And you know what's funny about that is these rich guys who have a muscle twitch, immediate response to when someone asks them money. It's not a question that they haven't had to experience before. Mm-hmm. These people get asked money 24/7. It's not a new question. So to see Mark Cuban's and Drake's response to how they Mark Cuban
to how they address
Bobby asked Mark Cuban, can I borrow your plane? And he's like, no. He's just like, why did you smile during that? He was like, do you want me to frown? You can't. It was so savage. And then she was like, why? And he's like, it's expensive. It's really expensive. It was, and then afterwards, it was just like, okay.
I know, she's so vague and open and not direct at all. Very indirect.
Super indirect. And then with Drake,
I think Ruby's more entertaining as a character.
She can hold a better conversation.
Exactly.
That's way. See, look at that. She can hold a way better conversation.
And we got to be ready.
Visit orugastore.com today and enter the discount code OP15 for 15% off your order on all Oruga merch. Free shipping for orders over $50 is available as well. Thank you.
It was interesting. Bobby actually, I felt pre-planned her. She wrote on her hand what she wanted, the questions she had, and it was so funny because one part was oh my god, this is
one of my jokes would be I can't see this question, I sweated too much when I'm asking them.
Literally, dude, it's
that would be a funny bit. But if she wasn't even doing any of that,
could you imagine having pre-planned questions? I mean, I understand there'd be things in my mind I would want to talk about, but it's dude, why do you need to have a strict,
unless your whole day is you have a plan around that day.
Okay.
I'm podcasting with this celebrity today.
Sure.
My whole day is focused around that.
Around that celebrity.
Yeah. And then you just are well, what kind of questions should I start thinking of?
Oh God. I at that point I would just truly just want to read the room. How
much can you know about someone before you meet them, Or how much do you really want to know about them unless you get that first impression, Because they could just walk out in 10 minutes, 20 minutes, and you don't have any of your questions answered, you know?
Right, because you could start with, like, some really shitty questions to ask them. Like,
exactly.
Or
a very rough start.
What was that Stranger Things main actress and Drake controversy? You remember that when she was, like, 15 or 16 years old and Drake...
11?
Yeah.
Millie Bobby Brown?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So...
Yeah, I remember that. They were hanging out. Or they were friends. And I don't even know how old that chick is. They were friends before she hit 18.
Right. And you're like, friends with Drake.
Or at least messaging back and forth.
Which is... Dude, why? That's dangerous.
Yeah. Drake was playing a scary game.
He was playing...
He was a Stranger Thing.
He wanted that Demogorgon, huh?
He wanted that Demogorgon.
That's so horrible. I mean, if you wanted to make Drake uncomfortable, you would ask that question. Yeah. Yo, why you like Millie Bobby Brown?
I would be like, yo, what's up with 11? And he'd know exactly what he'd know what I'm talking about.
So, like, the 6 is cool, but you know what's even cooler? 11.
How to piss Drake off 101.
And be like, you know who I thought really is good at beef? Pusha T.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, yeah, dude, you would...
That's how you get Drake to leave your podcast in 5 seconds.
In the first 5 minutes. He went... But that's the thing, like... Unfortunately, this guy, like, Drake only has 2 types of podcasts. One where the main host sucks his dick off literally throughout the whole podcast, and it's such an unbearable thing.
Or the interviewer, because it's either an interview or a podcast that most celebrities or artists are on, you know.
Sure.
And they're getting interviewed, and the interviewer is just sucking up to them.
Yeah, that's why I would want to see Drake on the Joe Rogan show. Dude, I want to see it so bad. I hope it happens one day. Yeah. Because the thing is, like...
so where it's an almost unfiltered conversation. Mm-hmm. And not one where there's, like, a blanket in front of it. Because you're scared of that person's wealth or, like, their status, you know?
Yeah. Joe Rogan wouldn't be intimidated by Drake.
No.
He wouldn't...
If he's smoking joints with goddamn Elon Musk, he's not going to have a filter with you, you know?
Dude, no, not at all. And he had a podcast Joe Rogan had a podcast recently with Post Malone. It was great. They did 4 hours. And
that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, and it was honestly very interesting. And Post Malone was talking about how, you know, all those drug allegations were false. But man, I don't believe him still.
I know. Post Malone used to be one of my favorites, bro.
Yeah.
And then, like...
He was great.
If I
2015, 16, 17,
like if I went to a couple of his concerts or something, I'd probably still be like a really strong fan, but I just haven't been in his music lately. Mm-hmm.
And it's so popular now.
Yeah. After that song that he had in the Spider-Man animated movie.
Oh.
Dude, after that shit went platinum or whatever.
Yeah, with Sway Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
that
trying to get some weed in California. It's like, I hate that song so much. It's because I have family members that are so basic that play that song and they're like, yeah, and it's like trying to get my peaches from Georgia and my weed from California.
That's Justin Bieber.
No.
That is Justin Bieber. That is the direct. You're talking about goddamn peaches.
No, dude, I'm not. I promise you. It's Sway Lee's.
You're talking about Sunflower, and then you're talking about Justin Bieber's song, which is completely different. Because Weed from California, that's the Justin Bieber song.
Maybe Sway Lee pulled it off. I don't know. Sunflower. I am talking about Sunflower, yeah.
The Sunflower song, it goes a little different.
This song. I hate this song. I can't even believe I'm playing it right now.
Don't get us banned. Where is that song?
God, I hate this song. I already hate that I'm playing it.
What is it? Is it this song?
This is so horrible. I'm
I don't
sorry,
fuck with
listeners.
Justin Bieber.
Yeah, no. I'm sorry, listeners. For forcing me to do that. I would cleanse the palate with a different song, but I'm not going to. But you know who I do like? Wiz Khalifa. Cushion OJ, man. Nothing's better than that album. There's a lot of great albums, but man, that's a pearl.
That is.
It's a diamond.
I do want to cop watching movies with the sound off. 10th anniversary. That is definitely a cop. Because there's not one song.
Macadelic, too.
There's not one. I already have that one. It's okay.
You're
But
tripping.
watching movies is way better.
No, it's not.
Dude, it has to be.
Nah, I won't
Because
agree
there's
with you.
not a skippable song on that album.
SDS, what is that song?
Somebody do something?
Yeah.
That's probably the only one.
But you know how, like, I'm an avid Mac Miller listener. You like, for me to
Yeah.
pull, because, like, Bird Call, is that what it is? That's a great song.
Mm-hmm.
Bird Call's great. I think that's what it's called. I don't remember. But, yeah.
It's just got so many good songs on that album. But Macadelic, I really like that. Like 1 through 8. Lucky Ass Bitch. Vitamins.
Yeah. America.
Aliens Fighting Robots.
We talked about that
Yeah.
before, and that's such a good. Oh,
That
my
still
God.
is one of the hands down one of Mac Miller's best songs.
Oh gosh, because like I remember not liking that song in the beginning, just because it has such an unorthodox layout of a song. But as I like grew with that song, you're like, Jesus, dude, this might be the best constructed song I've ever listened to. Like they just absolutely murder the concept. And when Mac Miller and what's that guy's name? Sir Durat? No.
Yeah, Sir Michael.
Sir Michael, yeah.
Sir Michael rocks.
Yeah, dude, he is so. Him and Mac Miller have created some great songs
Bangers.
together. Dude, some great songs. And that
I know,
song
they're
is,
underrated too.
I
like
could-
they're not in the mainstream music world. Like you need to bump Sir Michael rocks now.
And yeah, but let me tell you, I would want to be a fly on the wall during that session, during that studio session between Sir Michael Rocks and Mac Miller,
Yeah.
making
That's-
robots
yeah.
versus aliens. Dude, do you know how many like
Or aliens fighting robots.
aliens fighting robots?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, fans. Like I can't be exact, but anyways, dude,
That song though.
yes, it's so
just
great.
during the production of it to just witness it.
Because they go back and forth on some of the verses, which is super cool.
Yeah.
I always am a big fan when a song will have
Like
a
Frat Rules with ASAP
Yeah.
Rocky and Big Sean. That's a good one.
or what's that song on Rocky's mixtape? with-
Eminem does it a lot. I'm trying to think of what other song. Because Rocky, he does it a lot with like other artists.
Yeah, it's
Like
a
Skepta. I know he's done it with Skepta
Oh.
at least once.
yeah. Of course, I'm not gonna look it up, but yeah, there's some a lot of Rocky songs like that. It's pretty great.
Talking about this music plunge, everyone comment below what your favorite rap artist is. Or it could be any music artist. Who knows?
Yeah, because I'm really into symphony recently,
Yeah.
and there's some banger symphonies I have. But could I give you the name of them, dude? Those symphonies have such cryptic names. I could never be like yeah,
Send us your playlist.
yeah.
We don't know
Sure.
what you guys have. They could be gems.
Indeed.
Our Irish listeners could be having some
Oh,
some
dude.
fucking Irish bops on there.
Yeah, send me the bagpipes. I'm just kidding. Send me the good music.
That's Scottish, man.
Oh,
Don't
you're
get it wrong.
right. God, you're right. That's so true.
The bagpipes. I'm trying to listen to these bagpipes from Baghdad.
That's a great Eminem bar. It's like
Bow, wow, 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 wow.
literally.
I wish I could memorize that whole song like word for word, because he just has some of the craziest, like, not threats, but like name calling in it.
Yes.
Get back in the backseat, you dumb ass.
Jeez, dude. Eminem has some of the craziest lines and songs that you're like, how in hell did you get away with this stuff?
Yeah.
Dude.
For it to be written on paper, how did you get away with it?
Dude, because I was thinking about, gosh, I don't, what song is that? It's the song that's rated by Slim Shady in his first
LP 2?
Yeah, no, it might just be LP 1. I don't know. It might be LP 2.
Is it
matter.
the one where there's moonlight and there's a guy in the trunk?
Oh, no. Stan? Is that what you're talking about?
I don't know.
It's the same album, though. Yeah, it's the same album.
Anyways, we like all the rappers. We like Juicy J.
The Way I Am.
We like Wiz Khalifa. The Way I Am. Oh, that's a great one.
It's a great one. It's got a line in it that he's really
I think
crazy
I have
on.
that memorized. Nah, am.
Yeah, whatever you say I am.
I could scream that song in the car, though.
And the horns it had because of the Dre production. I don't know if it's horns particularly, but it's like, I don't even know.
Yeah, Dr. Dre on Eminem's beats are some of the craziest things you will find.
What a time, bro. What a time. And that album
It's
dropped
an
when I was
LA
born.
producer. It's an LA producer making beats for a Detroit white rapper.
Yeah, that can... Oh my gosh. And he was so great at rapping. He just had such a unique voice, and his ability to pronunciate and his ability to word rhyme and his ability to just put this craziest shit together.
I know.
Was so wild.
And the fact that you can see him like piecing shit together in his head when he's just rapping on stage.
Yeah.
And you see his eyes and like they're just laser focused and shit.
Yeah. He is a terrifying person.
He is a
isn't he?
different animal.
He's such a different animal. I wish I had that laser focused.
Yeah.
Like, he's just fucking laser focused. He's so intense. Eminem would be an intimidating
It's like
person.
he did enough speed for his entire life that
Dude.
it just got him like his eyes wide.
Eyes wide.
Like he did one hit and he was like, I'm good, man. I don't need this shit
Ever. Yeah. He is, because like the older he's gotten, like his music's declined a little. I mean, let's go even further. His music has declined a lot as he's gotten older.
His old music has aged like fine wine. His new music has fallen off of the face of the earth.
Dude, it's...
I'm just kidding. I like his one new song in GTA.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
I forgot what that was called, but the fact that he's trying to stay relevant.
Right. But
that's good at least.
it's so fascinating how, like, how tough rappers act like they have to be. You know what I mean? Drake acts tough, too.
I mean, Eminem's from Detroit, though. Compared to Toronto, I think Eminem can act tough. But I feel like it is a front a lot of the time.
That's when
Like, most of the time
you can
it
have
is
a hard
front.
life.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. I'm okay with you having a little bit of attitude. That's
Yeah.
fine. When it's deserved, you should have some attitude too.
Yeah.
But when you're just like,
You can tell when it
I
reaches.
am that motherfucker. Like, you're just like so trying to act gangster, and you're like, dude, you're making millions a year. You're drinking orange juice with the best omelets created by one of
I know,
the
you're
wealthiest
getting
chefs.
chef-made meals, and
Yeah.
you're drinking OJ in the morning, and
like,
you're still
life's
talking
tough.
about still talking about that gangster life.
Like,
Like, bro, that shit was 8 years ago when you were in penitentiary. Chill. You're 8 years out.
Still hasn't learned a damn thing about nice stuff. Haven't. Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting. I don't know, because I was the only interview I've seen with Eminem where he hasn't acted super tough was in front of Mike Tyson, and the interview
Because he knew he could get his fucking ass whooped.
and that's the thing. That was the only interview I was like, I really like Eminem right now, because he was like respectful. He was cool. He didn't talk crazy gangster stuff. He was just like, this is how my life is, and blah 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 blah. This is how things went, and like this is how the music industry is, and this is how touring business works, and like he was just really insightful and really honest.
Have you ever seen that one? They do it a lot. I don't know if it's like ESPN or some bullshit, but they get like LeBron, Jay-Z, and like a bunch of different athletes or some other industry of people, and they get them all in a circle, and they all talk about their experience.
That'd be the worst.
I thought it was the craziest like idea for a talk show, or like I don't know what kind of thing it would be called, but it's like one guy tells their story, and then the other people are like, oh yeah, that shit happened to me too, and like that's so awkward. Just have like a round table. It's like 8+ people.
Oh God.
Yeah, 8+. It's like you're telling a whole life story,
That's
and
the
you've
worst.
already made it.
In those situations, in those types of interviews, you want less and less people. Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? If you have Jay-Z, you don't want anyone else there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? If you have Shaquille O'Neal, you don't want anyone else in the building. You just be like, hey, we just want to talk to you today. We just want to get your life story.
That's too many famous people, or just too many iconic people to have in one room, that you're not interviewing one of them at a time.
Right. And you know what you would have to start worrying about is there's a lot of personality in one room right now. And somebody could get their
brand sponsorships.
Right. And there's a lot of feelings that could get hurt if, oh, he talked to him a minute longer than he talked to me.
Yeah.
You know, or my stage time was a little less than Jay-Z's, but I'm Shaquille O'Neal and I'm way better than Jay-Z over there.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm like projecting on these people might be able to deal with these situations, and I'm sure they can, but it's just like that's an inefficient way. If you can get all of them, if you can get them into a room, why would you get all of them into a room at one time? That seems so ridiculous.
I'm trying to think of what it was called.
Were you talking to me how Kanye put Travis Scott and like Meek Mill all in like?
It's called Uninterrupted.
Uninterrupted.
Yeah.
What a bad name for that too.
This is what it...
Just kidding. Maybe it's a good name. Who knows?
Yeah, let me show you. Maybe that's not even it.
Jesus, it's already 9 o'clock.
But yeah, it's literally like a round
Cheeto.
table. And they don't even have a table. It's just chairs.
Oh, that's the worst.
It's a round group of chairs.
Yeah.
And a bunch of people, iconic people, sit in them. And they just tell their story. And I thought it was like very low budget. It just feels low budget. If you're having all these rich ass motherfuckers in a room to speak about their lives, wouldn't you have like a little bit more like production quality?
And for you to hear everyone's story, all right, and let's say you only have an hour, that means you're only hearing 10, 15 minutes on one person.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, you'll never learn anything out of 10 or 15 minutes. You won't learn jack shit after that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 10 or 15 minutes, you might learn some things, but you won't learn like the big picture. And it's like when Elon did those Joe Rogan podcasts where it was like 3 to 4 hours and you're just hearing a stream of consciousness of a brilliant person just spewing out everything in their brain. You really get to learn how their brain operates. Mm-hmm. Because in the first 15 minutes, you don't really get the patterns of how they think. Like 15 minutes could be one revolution of thoughts. You know what I mean? And then you're going through another revolution of thoughts. And then you're going through again. And you're just like, Jesus, you're fucking intelligent. But like when you only get 15 minutes of somebody, you really could get a bad, like, it's almost like a little snapshot.
Like not a good first impression.
Yes.
Some of the time it's not even a first impression.
For sure. Because some people, when they start podcasts, they're just like kind of tense and they just don't know how to talk for a couple minutes, and then after a while they're like, oh yeah, you know, this is happening, and they start to loosen up and they start to like, you know, be better of a conversational person. What if you're 15 minutes and you fucking suck those first 15 minutes, and then by the end of it you're finally starting to like get the groove of it and you're like, oh, I only got a couple minutes left, god damn it, you know?
I know, just get into the groove.
And I could, you know what's so funny is the anticipation Imagine if you're the person last to speak. And they're...
and you're waiting for your turn.
Dude, you know, and you're thinking about what you're gonna say, and you're like, damn, Jay-Z just said some fire shit. I guess I gotta change up my speech. I guess I gotta change up of how I'm gonna speak. Oh, he got issues with his job and industry. Maybe I should talk about my problems and my job industry issues. Just
and
like,
then that shit just ends up extending your time 10 minutes, and you're like, fuck, I didn't talk about my family.
like, shit, my wife is gonna be mad when she sees this shit.
Like, I only talked about my job and my money. I didn't talk about my family.
Or love, I just talk about money. Yeah, like, for sure. That'd be the worst, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, God. It's so inefficient. It's so inefficient. Because if I wanted to hear Jay-Z speak, I want to hear him for 3 hours. Which sounds so crazy, but, like, that's what a good podcast is, man. Is if a long form, figuring out how you think and figuring out how you speak and how, like, what's going on and what's your life story and how... It's so compelling. Because I remember I was talking to you recently about how I listened to the Kanye and Joe Rogan podcast, and just like how crazy that conversation was, because Kanye was just off the wall with all these ideas, and his ideas were pretty solid. Mm-hmm. What he was saying wasn't nonsense. Like, it was pretty reasonable that maybe people should start producing all of their own food. Whoa. Maybe not like 80% of their food, 100% of their food.
Yeah.
You know? Like, being able to have enough produce to last through the winter. Being able to have enough, just everything.
He's probably a doomsday prepper, like low-key.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's probably why he's got that tank.
I bet all of those types of characters are doomsday preppers too. I bet Jay-Z's
I
a doomsday
low-key am
prepper.
a little bit, but like, how prepared can you get when you have the budget that I got?
Right.
Yeah.
But if I was rolling in almost a couple $1 billion, I would buy a deep bunker for sure.
I'm sure if everyone had a good ass budget, though, they would doomsday prep to some extent. You know, people already buy shit in bulk.
10 years ago, I was looking at this home, quote unquote, for sale, and it was up in New York, and it was a ex-government missile launch pad.
Like silo or launch pad? Silo?
Well, like silo, but in the ground.
Underground silo.
Yes. And it had a missile launch tube, and then it had a living quarters inside of it as well. And it also had a growing station for hydroponic plants as well. And it was $10 million 10 years ago.
Jesus.
And but dude, if you had a few bees, you have no issue with buying a $10 million bunker. Oh yeah, that makes total sense. But because let's go back to GTA. Let's be nerds for a fucking second. You know when you have a bunker and you just go up to like a little platform? That's what that one looked like. They literally showed the land that you had. It was like,
it was one of those.
Yes. It just, the only thing you see is like a little shack that's like a 10 by 10. And then you go into that, and then you go into the stairwell that goes all the way down into the ground. And then you hit the living quarters and overstation looking over the missile silo.
Damn.
So cool, dude. So cool. And look, I'm not pro-military. I'm pro-missiles and pro-nukes. I'm just saying... I'm just saying that it was just a cool design.
Yeah. I could imagine just like renovating that type of shit though. Mm-hmm. And just like doing whatever the fuck you want with it if you had that budget.
You know how baller it is to look at it, like being on your land. Maybe it's like 40 or 50 acres. And you drive up to just a little shack. And you're like, huh, what's that? And you go into it, and you're like, man, these are a lot of stairs. And it's like, it's all metal stairs that echoes all the way. and then you go down 500 feet, and then you finally hit the door that you gotta unlock and maybe put your finger scans in, or maybe you gotta hit it a couple times to get in through the door, and then you're there. Gosh, that'd be so cool.
Huh.
Doomsday Preppers, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, this has been fun. And I don't know, man. Check out the Galactic Federation merch designs. I don't know.
It's on shirts, hoodies. We might even have stickers soon.
Indeed.
And don't forget about the Oruga Podcast holographic stickers.
For sure. And you know what? Let's go to say this too. Thank you for listening. For God's sakes. Thank you so much.
Do you want to collect a free NFT? Well, head over to OpenSea and visit @ShopOruga to view our collections of digital art. Our most recent collection, Citation, is available now. Check it out. The Oruga Podcast.
Somehow somebody's always looking the other way. Now look at these guys. They look busy, right?